What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream. And I wasn't going to go live today, but we lost a zero. The OMI token lost a zero back to that 001 range. So how could I not go live and talk about it and talk about really all the bullish sentiment, the developments, the cadence of deliverables that continue to roll out, that are now rolling out on the OMI side of things. So I had to go live. I want to talk about it, talk about the price, talk about some long-term fundamentals, hear what you guys have to say, and interact with you guys in the chat as always. So let me know who's here with me on this Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. I try to switch up the times so that my European OMI homies can make some of the streams. All right, so this is why I alternate. I try to alternate between the 4 o'clock and the 6 o'clock so that I can get my European friends up in here. But I go back to work next week, so it's going to be a little hard. We got Adam in the house. We got Jomi in the house. Dive Jedi. Let's go. Gino, I can see you breathe. I don't know what you mean, but I'm breathing. So is the OMI token. It's not dead. Veve is breathing. OMI is breathing. SoCal. OMI homie in the house. He's fifth today, slacking, but he was busy playing Illuvium and collecting revenue from his Star Atlas ships. Always a good time. We got Energy in the house, and I need when I get Veveverse access, I need an invitation, Energy, because I'm hearing that you make the dopest creations in the Veveverse. So you're gonna have to hook up your boy Danny the Bull with an invite to your home. Veve Wheels in the house. What's going on? Let's go. Uncle Mesh in the house. Kryptonite 786 in the house. What are you referring to here, Jomi? The real Danny. What's up, Master Jimbo Lee Lingo? We got Sean in the house. Chip. Carolina Vintage in the house. And I love my European friends also. I've said it before, one of the greatest things that I've experienced in this community is developing relationships online, or not, but developing relationships with people from all over the world, multiple countries, different continents. Truly amazing experience to be connected through Veve and OMI to all of you guys from all over the world. And we got Kryptonite from the UK. The Veve Meisters in the house. Another European OMI homie in the house. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. We got 36 people in here already. I'm going to get started in a second. Pixel Trader. Exciting times indeed. How you feel about the collectibles taking a back seat right now for the OMI MCP takeover? I love OMI utility like everyone, but feel collectibles need to be more collector points. Yes, and I think they will be. This is one of the points I was going to get to. I'll start off with this now that you bring it up. A lot of people are reporting the number of points that they're generating, that they're collecting from their OMI utility in these early days. And it's important to note that it is very, 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 very early days. Only a small number of people have started staking, have sent their OMI tokens to that layer 2 wallet. And so they're going to be reaping more rewards. So right now there is an imbalance in MCP points that are being accrued due to OMI staking, OMI lockup. That's going to stabilize and normalize, and there will be more of a balance. It should not be, MCP points should not be dominated by OMI, right? The whole point of MCP is to reward collectors. It's a master collectors program, but to accentuate that program through this currency, right? The currency of the project, is definitely an awesome thing. So let's wait a little while and see how that balances out. But both, I think, Reset It and Puddin' Cheeks mentioned it. I think I have one of the tweets. I'll jump into some of the tweets that I bookmarked. But they both mentioned that there's going to be a balancing of those points, and the OMI utility is not going to overpower MCP. What's up, Flicker Bits in the house? We got Modib in the house. Next stop, 002. Yeah, I'm going to pull up that chart in a hot second, and we're going to look at it. I'm surprised that it's doing so well, actually. I'll pull that up in a second. Definitely, guys, hit the like button. I'm going to jump back into the chat in a bit. As always, I'll go back and forth between, some of the things that I have prepared and what you guys are saying. So drop your comments, drop your questions. I love the interaction. And with that being said, let's jump into the price, because if you're an OMI holder, today's a good day. This whole week has been great. The whole month has been great. If you look at the 1 month chart, it's up over 70%. It was up 95%, I think. We hit 0012 today. I didn't expect to break through 001 so easily. I thought for sure that it would get rejected there, that would act as strong resistance. But it broke right through there, and we'll see how it closes on the daily time frame. But it broke right through that 001. And when I'm thinking about why that is, I think it's for a number of reasons. First and foremost, a lot of people have had their confidence restored, right? We have been waiting and waiting, and it's become a meme, right? When? Soon. And a lot of people, even people who have had strong hands and very strong conviction, even myself, I made a video a month ago where I said that I voiced my frustration. I said I hit my target OMI. I bought a bunch during this bear market. I think my lowest buy was 00058 or 6, around there. But I bought a lot, between 6 and 7. But even I wanted to see utility rolled out before I raised my target, my target number, because I'm someone who's in a number of projects, right? So there is some opportunity cost if you don't have the confidence that they are going to execute on the things that they said that they would. And there is a real chance that tokens can underperform other assets. And that's still always a chance, right? This doesn't mean, this doesn't determine the long-term outlook, right? It's not like a sealed deal or anything like that. But confidence is restored in not only people who had lost conviction, but even people who had conviction. That's one reason. Two is that there are many people who are just waiting for this for confirmation. And three, now you have people buying it for the utility. And I've seen multiple people buying it for utility, starting with Sanjay, who was on the channel a week and a half ago. I think I saw Mugen Tran. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I saw him talking about today, talking about selling some stuff in order to load up on OMI. Real collectors, people who have been on the Veve side of things, who have not yet jumped into the OMI side of things, they're now incentivized to. And then you add in FOMO, right, which is a real thing. And you have it blasting through that 001. So again, I didn't expect that. I expected it to get rejected from there and then maybe, come down to 0009 and for it to take a couple of bounces and then maybe break through. But it totally broke through that 001, which to me signifies a big sentiment shift, right? And that's not only due to OMI utility. It's also coming on the heels of other catalysts, namely the Veveverse is a huge, huge catalyst. So you've got two massive deliverables that have now been executed within the last, 30 days? And we've seen sentiment completely flip. Super bullish. Let me see. Let me jump back into the chat before I go through some more of that stuff. SoCal, if you want more collectibles points, you got to buy more collectibles. Happy Friday. Let's go. We got blockchain Bullfrog. I feel bad for Paul's followers who jumped ship when he removed OMI from the list. All right, so a couple things here. One is it's not easy to hold during a bear market. And for the last 8 months, we've watched, if you're an OMI holder, you've watched Bitcoin almost double, right? Hit a low of 15.8 or something like that. I forget, 15.6, whatever it is. Went up to over 30,000 since, receded, retraced. Ethereum went from like $900 to $2,000. Solana hit a low of $8. It almost quadrupled, went up to $30. ADA hit a low, bounced back up. And for months, we've watched all these other coins leave OMI behind. And people were, the Twitter feed every day, people were telling you that it was a rug, that it was a poop coin, that it would never have utility, that they didn't care about the token. And it's not easy to hold during a bear market. It's very hard. But if you have conviction in something and you're not over invested and you don't get overly emotional, if you end up correct, you are rewarded. And I don't care about this price. I've said it before. I was on stream with many of you guys about a week ago, and the token pumped off of the initial news. Went up, I forgot how much, a lot. On stream, it turned into like an OMI chart watch party. And I said, I don't care about the price. Price action is short term. Utility coming to the token is a fundamental shift. That's a milestone. That's a historic, day in the lifespan of this token. That far exceeds the price. Prices go up and down. Crypto is very volatile. You could see Bitcoin go back in for a double bottom. You could see the news of this. You will see the news of this subside, most likely, right? Things pump, and then profits are taken. Euphoria subsides. The price doesn't matter. What matters is that the token is fundamentally different today than it was 2 days ago. And that bodes well for 2 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, when this is now the baseline. And from here, there are only other deliverables that are coming. And we've seen a steady cadence of them. And I myself, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I've not been afraid to be critical. I've called them out on the timelines and all of that stuff. But if you're going to be an objective person and be critical when they're not delivering on time and fumbling and having their mishaps, if you're objective, you have to celebrate the wins. And what we have this week is a really, really big win. And if you look back at the last 8 months, it's been a steady cadence of deliverables. And you can be as bearish. I don't know. There are a lot of people who have lost faith, etc. I don't see how anyone can see the deliverables that have, the milestones that have been reached, some of them small, and, not feel some sort of bullish sentiment returning to this whole project, right? If you felt like it was gone. We've had crafting and burning, waitlist, localization, which people barely talk about, Alibaba connection in part of that localization strategy. We've seen the beginning of marketing. We've seen the search engine spruced up. We've seen MCP start. We've had the waitlist. You've had the Veveverse beta, which went off well enough to invite other people about a week later, which not enough people talk about because we're oftentimes when something rolls out, it doesn't work. But Veveverse worked well enough for the 50 initial users that they then rolled it out to a second batch. And then they added comics. So forever we were waiting for, a lot of people were waiting for comics in showrooms. Now you've got comics in the Veveverse once you have access. And then OMI utility, right? Finally, something on the OMI side of things, which was a huge, huge knock on the project and on the team. So I don't see how anyone can look at that cadence of deliverables over the course of just 8 months and not, be bullish on the vision of the project. And if you project out another 8 months, and if they continue with this cadence, what are we going to see? Veveverse rolled out to everyone. Bronze tickets are next for OMI utility. Don't know when. They can take a little time. I'm not in a rush. We have confirmation that utility is here and that they're indeed working on it. And this blockchain team in Spain or wherever is actually a blockchain team and they're working on things. So bronze tickets, buying OMI in the web app and eliminating the need to go through the steps to bridge to a layer 2 and cutting out the difficulty of it, giving people easier access. MCP points, being able to spend them. All of these things are going to happen in the next 8 months on top of some other things. And I believe that if you combine those new milestones with now a strengthened market, right? Crypto picks up. The community is brought closer together through the social aspects of the Veveverse. I think that they are doing a pretty good job now of catching up and getting to where they said they wanted to be. That vision is coming to fruition. And sometimes things don't hit on the right timeline. And I've been mad at that. But you can't keep punishing people for their initial mistakes, right? I can't now continue to be mad at all that stuff if they've course corrected and now are hitting a steady cadence of deliverables. So long as they keep up, so long as they continue communicating in, a clear fashion, and they're no longer, and they've been talking less and delivering more. As long as they continue those things, then it's good stuff. So all good stuff recently. Not taking a victory lap. Also important not to get ahead of ourselves and take a victory lap because it's still. So I consider the first 2 years of them building out was a foundation. That was a foundational period. We're now in a transitional period where they are building on top of that foundation and transitioning to that vision. So we're still in a transitional period. So, I'm not taking a victory lap, but I am more bullish and happier with their work. I'm happier and more bullish today than I was a month ago, 2 months ago. And I feel like that sentiment is shared by many in the community, and it's currently reflected in the price of OMI, which again, I didn't expect it to even get this high, to break 001. I don't chase green candles. It's a rule. It can go up to 0.004, and I'm not chasing because I need to abide by rules that I developed for myself. But a lot of people are buying, many for the intention of staking. And it's nice to see because, again, if you've been in this community for a long time, and I've been here for a while now, a couple years, it hasn't always been easy. And there have been many days, if you see all that red before the green started, we've endured a lot. Right? And there have been people telling you that you were wrong and that, you were going to get rugged and all that stuff. And so it's important to keep an open mind. I always say keep an open mind, listen to different perspectives, but at the end of the day, make your own decisions and, make your own decisions, period. Full stop. So good stuff. Let me go back to the chat before I jump back to the charts and things like that. We got Pharaoh in the house. Hello from Germany. Best time. Thank you. Just came earlier when talk is needed. Welcome. Jomi, it's a meme. All right. You'll have to fill me in. I'm getting a little old too, so I miss out on some of these references. Ricard, have over 50 million OMI, will be fun in 10 years. Yeah, I have a breakdown. I'm going to share a spreadsheet a little later that I created. I create all these spreadsheets during the, throughout the year. I create a bunch of spreadsheets just to put things in perspective and to guide myself really about different scenarios that could play out. So I have a pretty good one I'll share with you a little later. Genuine, a little pump, get people excited. Correct. After more than a year of dumping. But the whole market has dumped. Everything has dumped, right? So OMI is not exclusive to that dump. The whole market is dumped. And so it is good to see that turnaround because you've endured the dumping market. Specifically, when OMI did not take part in the relief rally, the bear market rally, OMI continued to dump. So people should be excited. And also, many people accumulated at 0005, 0006, 0007. They disregarded the FUD, the negative story, the storylines, the narratives, and they accumulated and they brought their average cost down. So many are not too far from break even at this point, including myself. I mean, I'm probably about 30% away from break even now, which isn't that bad. And I think a lot of people are in that boat. And even if you're not in that boat, it's just good to see, like I said, the price moving in the right direction. And more than the price, forget the price. It's good to see the fundamentals moving in the right direction. That's the real milestone. Prices go up, they go down. Someone could choose to sell 50 million OMI right now and send the price back into triple zeros. That's fine. Mark in the house, Q4, the queue of delivery, get ready. Yeah. It's exciting for sure to see how much more will be delivered by the end of the year. And again, now we have confidence that things will get delivered. And when they talk about different teams working on different things, like it's one thing to hear them say it, but you don't see it. You don't see the results of it. You hear them saying there's a blockchain team, but you don't see the results of the work. Now that you start to see the results of the work, and it wasn't just an article, a lot of people were saying that the article would just be another article and it would take a month, 2 months, 3 months for them to get the real utility out. But it was maybe a week later, and now people are collecting points off of their OMI tokens. So super bullish. I have not yet bridged. I'm going to watch, I think after this stream, I'm going to watch Foster's video. Foster made a video. I think My Collectibles made a video. There are a lot of people, community members, content creators who have made videos to help guide people if you're looking for guidance. What's up, Croner in the house? Hoping the best for OMI next bull run. Yeah, same. Thank you. Best way to pronounce is New Win. Oh, thanks. New Win. BJN, we need more users in the tens of thousands to have a chance that any of this, they do need more users. But first they need to, one, retain their users, restore confidence in their current user base, possibly attract users who have left because they lost confidence. And there are many of them who lost confidence because of the lack of deliverables and other things that angered people. And perhaps they come back. And perhaps with a market that turns around, right? And also consider the longer the NFT space goes and lives and goes on, I think that you're going to see more people step away from pictures of penguins and have more faith in licensed digital collectibles just because they have a track record and a long history of collectability. So we've seen Nifties disappear. We've seen Recur bottom out and disappear. And Veve is still standing. And not only are they still standing, they're still selling out. Lesser editions, sure. They're not moving the same numbers. They don't have the same number of active wallets, but it's a bear market. And you got to make it through the bear market. So we're going to see, the good news is we don't need millions of new users. Just need, like you say, thousands. And hopefully they continue to gain some traction and word spreads. But the first and foremost, they have to meet their deliverables, keep that core group. You can't continue to bleed out users. So maintaining your current user base, hopefully getting back some of the old people, and then little by little, once you have positive sentiment, people are more likely to spread things through word of mouth. If you bought a goofy lenticular for $4,000 and then it's worth $50, you're not inviting your cousins, right? When people have a more positive experience and that bubble is popped and things normalize and stabilize, perhaps that word of mouth, thing happens. We will see. I sold too early with Cardano, held it for 2 years, and it did nothing. So I sold it then. Yeah. This is a lesson that a lot of people learn. And I think this is what helped me during this cycle stick with everything that I stuck with. And I held Solana. Down to $8 and bought more. And a lot of people were telling me, a lot of people hate it. The tech sucks. They would say it breaks, it's janky, whatever. But I had the confidence or the wherewithal to hold it and continue to buy at the lows because I was here last cycle and I sold my stuff, XRP and my Bitcoin, my Ethereum. I didn't have the conviction. I didn't do my due diligence. So I paid my tuition. And you learn. Every cycle you learn. And now you should take notes. If you live through that downturn, there's going to be another downturn. Okay? Fast forward a couple years. Get ready and act accordingly. Make your plan. Shiba Inu to the moon. Superstar money in the house. What's good, Superstars? Part of the Bull Squad. Thank you. Joining the and he used my... Did you use my emoji, my custom emoji there? I have some custom emojis for channel members. Yeah, there I am. I see my face. My daughter designed them for me. I gave her $5. It was her allowance and a pack of Gushers candy, and she designed my custom emojis for channel members. Superstar Money was the first person to use them. Shout out. But I want to go back to talking about OMI, and you talk about where It is. And it's almost the top 100 coin. It's at number 117. Let me refresh this. See if it moved. Maybe it dropped. Oh, it went up. It's at 111. 111. It's almost a top 100 coin. Also significant because people track these things. And when they look to prepare and decide, what am I going to watch and buy in the next cycle? They look at the top 100 and they'll see this token that's surging into the top 100 and they'll ask, what is it? And we talk about growing the Veve user base. A lot of people have said they don't need OMI. And you can just use fiat. I totally disagree because you're now leveraging the whole crypto community who understands digital collecting on another level than the average person, right? It's much easier to convert crypto people to the digital collectible side of things, NFTs, whatever you want to call them, than it is normies or whatever you want to call them, everyday people. And so when people notice OMI, it is a conduit to Veve. So that's another thing that, when you talk about number of users, the OMI token performing well will lure people to Veve. Because how many people heard of Sandbox from the Metaverse or versus the token itself, right? Same with Mana, Decentraland. I don't think anyone uses Decentraland. But how many people gained exposure and at least checked out their Metaverse due to Mana pumping? And then people seeing Mana and saying, what is this? So we're close to 100, top 100. And it's very, very, I think it's not too difficult to get there. And if you look at the top 100 tokens, Terra Luna Classic, Pepe, all these coins, right? Where is Gala? $500 million during a bear market. Is it possible that OMI gets there during the bear? Yeah. OMI has underperformed the rest of the market, and now it's just starting to catch up to the rest of the market during this bear portion of the market. So it is absolutely able to get to that level. And then if you look at, fast forward to the bull market. Let's look at the number 111th coin. This is where we sit at in this position. The market cap was almost $1 billion. Right? So that's about almost a 4x from where we sit by virtue of surviving and maintaining that position of 111, which I've never even heard of synthetics. I've never heard of synthetics. OMI is not listed here because CoinMarketCap doesn't recognize it because of the tokenomics, the old tokenomics with it can't read the market cap properly because they have the reserve, the whatever, all those different, the reserve and the vault, whatever it's called, the ones that are out of circulation. And so it's not on here. But OMI last cycle, I want to say, was at about a $2 billion undiluted market cap. Should put it here. I've never heard of, I don't think I've ever heard of this. IOTX. I've never heard of CeeLo. I've never heard of, I've heard of AMP, have heard of Arweave, have heard of Dash. Waves? Hollow? So I don't think it's a far stretch to say that OMI gets back to that $2 billion market cap in the next cycle and cracks the top 100. Let's see what else we got up in here. Do you think comic sets owning all 5 comics variants should receive MCP set points? I haven't thought about it too much. And I don't really know. I would say yes, because the secret rares are often quite pricey. And there are often, you can buy a single collectible, like for instance, I don't know, Superman comes to mind, but that's expensive. But I'm sure there are other single collectible sets that you can load up on. So I do think that, yes, Caspa Baby top 10 coin solving the trilemma. Dive Jedi says we have a utility token. Next step is a metaverse token. And then that brings me to another point. And I don't know if that's going to be crypto is narrative driven. And a huge part of the narrative last cycle driven by Meta was the whole metaverse. And you had anything attached to, a metaverse token, any token that claimed they were metaverse jumped in price. The ones that we know the most, obviously, Mana, Sand. OMI was not yet there because it was just an idea. I wonder if that narrative is going to play out again. I have a feeling that it might, because even though Meta has kind of downplayed their metaverse transition, and they're now, I think, like focusing on AI and things like that, they're still building. And Apple Vision Pro is coming out. And it's not like the metaverse is going anywhere. It just got ahead of itself. The space got ahead of itself. I had pulled up just this week, $158 million week for funding for layer 1 blockchains and a metaverse creator. So new projects that are emerging in the space. Okay. You're still seeing people developing and building. Sand isn't going anywhere. Here's another one. The metaverse is officially dead. Now it can finally be built. What they mean by that is that the hype died off because the hype got ahead of it, right? People were pricing everything in. They saw the meta transition and they just hopped on it and became a bubble. Everything was a bubble, but that narrative really took off. Fundamentally, metaverses aren't going anywhere. They're just being defined and, created in a way that has a use case. And people overcomplicate it and think it's Ready Player One. It's not Ready Player One. It's an open world shared experience where people can socialize, right? Roblox, Fortnite are examples on a smaller level. And this article is about how exactly what I was just saying. The metaverse is not dead. The hype is officially dead, but now they can start building it. And they are building it. And Apple is getting involved and all these big companies. This is still the direction. And now, unlike Decentraland that has like 50, and I'm just using them as an example because everyone knows them. Last I saw, they had something like 40 active users, and it was a very janky place. Veve has a community of thousands built in, even if it's 2,000, but it's more. And I've always said it doesn't. People knocked Cavernous and they say, well, anyone can create a metaverse in Cavernous. But does everyone have a community that's ready to go there? This is what makes the metaverse, is the community. And Veve has now a utility for the collectibles. So now people have a reason or a functionality. They have the ability to interact with their collectibles, with one another. And that is what separates them apart, whether it's something that can be duplicated and other people can go in and build on Cavernous and spatial and all these things may look kind of similar and have similar functionality. But what separates Veve is that they have a community that collects all of this IP that can now be brought in to this space and we can talk to each other, right? And it can be a social hub. And that's the baseline. That's the start. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting for sure to see how the metaverse cycle plays out. Veve Avatar, what's up, bro? What's happening? OMI is my homie. That is correct. Very unlikely to happen. He's talking about the comics. Veve success is inevitable. Dino, price prediction next bull run. I'm going to get to that a little later. I'll talk about price because everyone loves talking about price. When do we? Yeah. So this is also what's also great about a milestone getting hit is now you can get to the next milestone, right? And I've been vocal about wanting exchanges because I felt that they've kind of moved. They've said that we were going to get them 2 years ago, and then they didn't deliver them. I was vocal about that, and they also then kind of like moved the goalpost, and I've said that as well. But now they said after utility come exchanges. And when will that happen? I don't know. But let's look at exchanges. Hold up. I was looking into what exchanges do for prices and short term. So this guy analyzed like 26 tokens or whatever and looked at a Binance listing before and after. The day of, a week after, 2 weeks after, to track price. And on average, it adds 41% to crypto prices. I'm trusting that his analysis is correct. Okay, so bear with me. But impact of Binance listing on price. These are a whole bunch of different projects. These are the different price movements, right? Only one you can see went down, or maybe two. But the majority of them are doing quite well. The average price increase for all coins on the first day after a Binance listing is 41%. By the third day, though, dips a bit, 24%. On average, coins stayed positive approximately a month after. The max price in the 30 days after listing was 73%. All right, that's 1 month after a Binance listing. And again, I think you looked at 26 coins. It differs, though, in a bear market and a bull market. This is bull versus bear market. So the bull market is the green, bear market's red. So you can see average price on first day after listing during a bull market is 49%, according to this person's research, compared to 34% during the bear. The 3 days, pretty substantial, 34% versus 13%. Average days prices stayed above listing price after listing, 18 days in the bull, 8 days during the bear. So now that utility is here, we can start thinking about, that's now one of the next milestones. And getting a major exchange does a number of things. It gives liquidity. It provides opportunities, right, to have more liquidity. Price is less. First of all, if that crypto is prone to exchanges collapsing. When you only have a few small exchanges, 1 or 2 goes down, that's not a good thing. So it adds some stability, adds liquidity, it adds exposure. And even if 30 days after a listing, we know that the price tends to recede and retrace, sometimes go back. But it's about, again, the long-term fundamental shift, right? So short-term price action goes crazy. Long-term ease of buying is a fundamental shift. Exposure to the token, fundamental shift. Exposure to Veve by proxy of the token, people finding OMI on Binance and then funneling into Veve, right? That conduit thing, fundamental shift. So we're a step closer. I don't know if it happens, in the next 3 months or 6 months from now. I'm not going crazy about it, right? Again, I have confidence now that they are delivering on the OMI side of things. I have confidence that the bronze tickets will be out next. And I have confidence that eventually they'll get to the exchange. So Dive Jedi says resistance is futile. Yeah. I can't wait for 10 years. I can't wait 10 years for OMI better options in crypto. I can't wait 10 years. Oh, I got you. And that's another thing. OMI is not the only option. There are many, many good projects in crypto. There are many 10Xs. There are some 100Xs that carry more risk. But I agree. And this is why I was spread out and I wasn't going so heavy into OMI. I had my target of what the number I wanted. But I'm not afraid to buy something else because there are plenty of other great tokens that are going to do well, provided history repeats itself and the bull market gets back in full swing, because Bitcoin has never been tested during a recession, right? It's going to be entering new market conditions that it's never really existed in, possible high interest rates for a longer period of time. And we'll see how that plays out. But there are other options, but I do think that OMI is in a good position, and I do think it's going to do well next cycle. What do you think of the so-called influencers who jumped ship and fudded the Veve during the downtimes, now are suddenly back? Here's what I think. I think that there is a difference between FUD and criticism, and sometimes people get them confused. I do think that some people turned into FUDders. I'm not talking about influencers. I'm just talking about people in general. I do think that some people lost conviction, got upset. Legitimately, at times, there were legit concerns, but they got FUDded out. I think some people got FUDded out. Some people turned into FUDders. But I think that there is a distinction to be made, and we should not crucify people who maybe didn't have the same conviction or were critical, but didn't FUD. So I'll talk about Paul Barron, who said Veve is dead. I've said that I thought that he was completely wrong, right? But I didn't consider that FUD. I considered that his opinion, and his opinion shifted based on his ideals and principles in Web3 and things that he saw going on with Veve that he didn't like. He's entitled to change his mind. Strong words, yeah. Veve is dead. Becomes a good catchphrase. It's very meme worthy. It'll haunt him forever, right? If it's indeed not dead. But I don't consider it FUD. I consider it a shift in his perspective. And I don't believe in beating up on him and a lot of people were beating up on Kyle by proxy because Kyle works for him. Totally disagree with that. And Kyle has voiced his own concerns about Veve, and that's totally fine. That's not FUD. That's criticism. People shouldn't confuse the two, and people shouldn't cancel them or, jump on them, because now you are pushing them away. Those are possible consumers. When I talked earlier about Veve having an opportunity to rebuild trust with people that lost trust, to recapture many of their old users who lost faith, Paul Barron's one of them on a big scale, right? He's a well-known person. We shouldn't beat him down. He's welcome to come back. And if he turned bullish again and he changed his perspective, he's human. Right? We don't even know how this whole story ends. But that's my opinion. However, there's a difference between the FUDders. And there were people who were actively trying to FUD. That's different. Those people are a little disingenuous, and you have to be able to tell the difference, though, right? There are sometimes blurred lines there, but I just kind of don't pay attention to it. I don't give them engagement because sometimes they're craving engagement is what they're craving, and we have to act like adults. I just don't engage, but you saw people flip and kind of FUD. And I'm not talking about influencers. I'm talking about people. That's my opinion. David, you seemed very sincere on Randy's channel 2 days ago. He seemed very appreciative of long-term hodlers. Yeah, I don't think OMI is going to zero. And they've gotten a lot of, shit during the bear market. They've made their share of mistakes. They've been called out in their mistakes. I don't believe in, punishing people multiple times for the same mistakes. So if they continue to do things, if they did things that I didn't like in the future, maybe I'd call them out on it. But for me to punish people to repeatedly punish based on previous stuff, you have to move on and see where they're going, right? So I like their cadence of deliverables. I like how they've been moving. I've also liked how David has conducted himself in the last few interviews that he's done, and he's been a little more present. So I do agree. And I do think that how could they not be appreciative? It's easy to be pessimistic, specifically when we were in a very speculative bubble and it got popped and our bags went down a lot. And we saw some things that, we didn't like. Right? And it's easy to get pessimistic. But it's clear that, to me, that, I think that David appreciates the community. I thought it was funny that at the end of, I just watched that today, but at the end of it, he didn't even realize he was live. That's so David. David didn't even realize he was live on stream. So my thing is, it's fair game to, be critical, but on the flip side, you've got to be objective and give people their due when they do well. And they've been doing well, right? Across the board, pretty much, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Yeah, a few weeks ago. And that's funny, right? How sentiment changes on a dime in crypto. And that's important to remember in the future. And I've learned that lesson. And this is why sentiment, you can't go by sentiment, because when sentiment is down, any little thing that's good that would have been like celebrated during when sentiment is high, it's going to be like discarded. It's not a big deal. And when sentiment is down, any small thing is magnified tenfold, because that's human psychology. And then people activate the Twitter fingers and it becomes a FUD fest. And that's just the way things are. You have to have a thick skin to make it through a bear market. So if you've made it through, if you're holding and continuing to hold, and again, this is not a victory dance, right? You have to acknowledge that right now you're in that there's a little bit of euphoria going on because of the price that's there on the screen. You have to recognize that, because sentiment works both ways, right? It goes up, it goes down. Key thing, in my opinion, is try to stay as balanced as possible, because when you're making decisions based off of sentiment and emotion, you're bound to have missteps. So it's important to come up with your plan and execute and try to put things in perspective at all times. Yeah, OMI's getting there. Let me refresh that screen. Is this the right one? It's getting close. 111 here. But pretty dope. Why is it not on CoinMarketCap? So it's not on CoinMarketCap because of the tokenomics system. CoinMarketCap can't read the circulating supply properly because we have the circulating supply and then we have the reserve wallet. So in circulating, there are about 300 billion tokens, but of total tokens, like the vault that was getting burned, I guess it's still getting burned, but it's now irrelevant. That reserve wallet makes it 700 billion. And also the fact that now it's like a changing circulating supply. They have difficulty reading it. So I asked Reese about it when he was on around the Ecomiverse a while back. And he said that they've reached out to CoinMarketCap to try to get it corrected, because that's another thing. When people look up tokens on CoinMarketCap, you can search by Metaverse, you can search by NFT, you can search by gaming. And so that's how a lot of people are introduced to new coins. OMI doesn't come up when on CoinMarketCap. If you go and look for Metaverse tokens, you're not going to see OMI. If you look for NFT tokens, you're not going to see OMI because it's not there. I think. Go double check that. But last I checked, and I brought that up to Reese, and that was his answer. He said they've emailed them multiple times, so hopefully it gets worked out. Sure, once there's greater visibility on the token. I picked up 65 million. Damn. A 00057. Ugh. Damn, congrats. Good one, man. Wow. So you're up almost 100%, like 70% on that right now on paper, right? And again, understand that it's prices go up, prices go down. What did I want to bring up? If Bitcoin, the good news is if Bitcoin tanks, and it's currently at 26,000, I think the bottom is in for OMI. Because if Bitcoin tanks, I don't see OMI going below that 00055. I think it'll form a higher low. It's got more levels of support built out now. It should have more strength on a prospective downturn, right? But if you look at the fear and greed index, there's some fear in the overall market. It's at 34. This is the Bitcoin fear and greed. If this were an OMI fear and greed index, right now, it would be in that green section. It would be in the greed section. So just something to keep in mind. It's interesting. Congrats on that. Good job. And hopefully it works out long term. I'm going to get to that spreadsheet a little later. Do you think after this pump happens, we go back? I mean, my expectation was that we wouldn't break through so easily and that we would bounce off and go back. So I do think that we're going to go back, but who knows? Last time it went to 0009, and I said I thought it would pull back, and it did pull back to 0007. I think it'll pull back again. They tend to pull back, right? If you look at, we'll see, but if you look at any coin, right, and I brought this up last time, XRP, when there was this, let's look in the yearly, right? This is when there was euphoria here around the SEC, which was a huge catalyst for them, kind of a fundamental shift. You saw the run up, sell off, run up, sell off, held over there, but gradually came back down. So will that happen? Something similar to OMI? I don't think things don't go straight up. I mean, they do in a bull run, right? In a bull run, this doesn't have the whole life cycle of OMI on here. But in a bull run, things kind of don't go straight up, but they move up faster. But we're not in a bull run. So do I think that it's going to recede? I do. And do I think it'll come down below? I would be surprised if it didn't. But who knows? What do I know? What's interesting, and I'll pull up this tweet. I bookmarked tweets. I liked this one shared by Veve Viral. I know Altcoin Daily also posted it. This is what a bull market looks like. And if this is 2013, this is 2017, this is 2021, this is us now. If history repeats itself, that's what a bull run looks like. This is Bitcoin. right? So it's going to be interesting. We're not in a bull market just yet, so I would expect it to come down. We shall see. Dive Jedi says very possible. Please share your spreadsheet. What price to expect? Yeah. Understand that I don't know anything, first of all. I'm just someone who's been watching and like you guys and studying it and came up with my own ideas. So, but I will share. So I came up with this a while back. I think at when it was at 0006. And I did that I do this with a lot of tokens. I'll come up with like different projections, different spreadsheets, because it's easy to lose sight of things on the long-term horizon and timeline. And you need to kind of like do some math and come up with ideas for where you think things could go in order to give you the confidence and conviction to buy when things are low. And so I do this for and I have different types of spreadsheets, but this is just one. But back then, 10 million OMI, which is the max staking, which a lot of people are now looking to just accumulate 10 million OMI. That was $6,000 a month ago, maybe even a couple of weeks ago. That same amount is more than $10,000 now, right? So at 0006, $12,000 could have purchased 20 million OMI. And at 001, that was worth 20K. Now, I'd questioned if OMI would miss the next bull cycle. And part of my bear case scenario was that they were just so slow on utility and consequently exchanges, because exchanges were are supposed to come after utility. So that was my bear case. I think we get back to this local high of last cycle. The token got to like a penny, I think 1.5 almost around there, but then it hit that 008 and it didn't break through. So 10 million OMI, which is now about $10,000, would be 80,000 there. 20 million would be 160,000, and 50 million would be $400,000. Back at around that local high, 10 million OMI, which is the staking max, which a lot of people are looking to get, is $150,000 at near the previous all-time high. 20 million, 300,000. You can pay off a house with that money. It's life-changing. 50 million is $750,000. And if you have 100 million, over $1 million. And there are people we know people with this much. That's also why you're going to see when people talk about really big numbers on OMI, one, I like to think about market cap, and two, I like to think about the sell pressure that's going to exist next cycle. I think that there's going to be immense sell pressure because people who have lived through a 95% downturn and now have this on paper. If you have 200, I know people with 200 million OMI. If you have that on paper, you have $3 million. There are whales so the token distribution is disproportionate, right? Specifically in many crypto projects, it's like that. Specifically in OMI, it's disproportionate. There are people with 12 billion tokens and more, right? And think about their money at just a penny and a half. And do I think it can get past that? Yes. I think it can get to about 5 cents. I don't know if that's going to happen. A lot would have to go right, in my opinion. And some people say that that's conservative. That's not a pie in the sky scenario, put it that way. Because that is, I want to say, about a $10 billion market cap. And if you go back to last cycle, and you look at where that would put us, it would be, well, that'd be at like Cardano level. Is this the old one? No, this is not it. Historical. Yeah, that wasn't right. Let's look at, this is historical. This is during the peak of the last bull run. $10 billion in market cap would make it in the top 25 around Bitcoin Cash. More than Axie Infinity. So I think it's safe to say it can get to $8 billion, right? Which would put it in line with Axie. Decentraland hit about $8 billion also. Sand also hit about 8. Sand also did that. Let me see if Sand is here. Sand might be lower because this is a snapshot on a specific day. So do I think OMI could hit $8 billion, $10 billion in market cap? Yeah. But what would that price be? My math is right. I think it's around 5 cents. I have another spreadsheet, but I'd have to find it with that breakdown. And so that's my thinking. My exit strategy would be to DCA out the same way I DCA'd in. So I think that some people, and I myself, I can only speak for myself, I've made mistakes buying large amounts at a high price instead of like DCAing, right? So I DCA, I layer in, and my plan is to layer out because one person buys the bottom, one person buys the top. It's impossible to time it. It's also very difficult to pull the trigger when there's mass euphoria. So if you think that this is like positive sentiment, this is a fraction of what a bull run feels like, right? When there is a proper bull run, you have these gains. Let me pull up this screen again. In a proper bull run, this doesn't end, right? It retraces, and it pops back up, and it retraces, and it pops back up, and it keeps going. And so the expectation is it's going to keep going. And because of that, psychologically, it's hard to sell. And so myself, personally, I'm okay with leaving a little money on the table. I'm going to layer out a bit. Probably sell a percent. I'm going to write it down on paper and sell a percentage at the previous, maybe like 1 cent or previous all-time high. Sell a little more at like whatever, 2 cents. Sell a bit more, 2.5 cents, and leave a percentage to run, right? Just in case it exceeds what I think, because to me, 5 cents is a lot. Others think it can go to, I don't expect it to go to 10 cents in next cycle. I think that's a lot, but other people do. And what do I know? Crypto is an irrational asset class. Doesn't make any sense. So is it possible that it exceeds my expectations? Yeah. Which is why I would never sell my whole bag. Right? Because then I would feel bad. So that's my strategy. That's how I'm playing it. As we get closer to the next cycle, as we get closer to the Bitcoin halving, I will have more of an idea. We'll know what new milestones they've hit, how much utility we have, what exchanges we have. We'll have a better idea of how many users are on Veve, and I'll personally get more of an understanding, a better grasp on where I think the token could go. Keeping in mind that the whole macro environment is going to be different next cycle. And in 2020, when all these coins pumped, right? In 2020, when Bitcoin was at $1 trillion valuation, Ethereum was at $500 billion, Binance was at 100 billion, and all these layer ones were killing it. Solana, Cardano were killing it. The money printing was crazy. They were giving out stimmy checks. All this money was funneling into high risk assets, the stock market. It was an everything bubble. So it's interesting to see I don't know how the market's going to react. I don't think it's hard to tell. We have that expectation that the next bull run is going to be just like the last one and the previous one. But again, the macro conditions are going to be totally different. And today, Jerome Powell was talking at Jackson Hole, and he was echoing his previous statements that the fight against inflation is far from over. And he talked about how inflation is still too high, even though it's down to 3.2, but target inflation is 2%. So they still need to cut that by a good 33%. It's cooled off considerably by 9%. But we saw Bitcoin dump from 30,000 to 26,000 last week on the heels of the minutes being released, the Fed minutes being released, and them talking about possible more rate hikes. So some of that stuff's not priced in, and we don't know. I didn't expect them to go so hard. This has been an unprecedented series of rate hikes, right? They've raised rates faster than any time in history. And it looks like Jerome Powell's not shy about raising them some more and keeping them higher than people anticipated. So it's going to be interesting to see what the market's like in the next cycle, first of all, what the macro's like, what crypto does during that macro environment, and then how the alts perform there and how OMI is positioned. But again, OMI is fundamentally changed this week. It is better positioned than it has been. It's fundamentally changed. We got 100 people up in here. Hit the like button. Don't forget, I appreciate you all. It depends on the team, continues to push stuff out correct. Any idea what the September surprise is? Isn't there a surprise in September? I am not sure. I have a lot of chat to catch up through, so let me go through this stuff. Did they say that there's a surprise coming? There are always surprises, it seems. And then David was talking about secret stuff with Randy. I don't read too much into that stuff. I think that's the way David talks. When he talks about secret things, I just think he means things that people don't know about yet, right? A lot of people read too deeply into every word, and they talk about, oh, secret things. Or they talk about, oh, look at them talking about secret things again. I think that's just the way David talks. He means surprises, things that we don't know about yet. And that's also, so there are things that are not yet priced in, so to speak, right? We only know about what they've said is coming, and they've said a lot. But there are other things that they have in the pipeline that they haven't announced yet. They're going to be happy surprises. And I think now they understand that it's good to give those happy surprises out, right? Surprise people, talk less, deliver more. So yeah, I don't know what that September thing is. OMI player one, this is just the beginning. We hit ballpark bottom. I agree. I think that the bottom is in. We're going to rise slowly, consolidate, dip, consolidate. Yeah. My honest target is 1 cent. Yeah, I think that a penny, I don't think that that's much to ask for at all. And that's the thing. Because we're at 1/10 of a penny, don't let it fool you. It's all about market cap. That's a psychological thing. They think 10 cents is easily achievable. It's not. And a penny is a 10x from where we are. A penny is like a 14x from where we were. For many, if you've been accumulating 1 penny, let me go here. Well, I have a penny and a half up. If you've been accumulating, you have 20 million tokens, which last week were worth $12,000. At a penny and a half, it's worth $300,000. I could pay off my mortgage with that. Right? And you're going to see people doing just that. And I think it's important to note that you shouldn't sell shame people. I'm telling you now. Dive Jedi commented on my last video. I told people I'm going to be selling some stuff. I'll be selling some tokens, all of my stuff. I'll be layering out a bit. right? People sell shame others. That's a lot. It's going to be a lot of money for people. And if you don't sell, someone else is going to sell on you. And profits are only profits on paper. Realized gains and paper gains are two totally different things, and people get them confused. And this asset class is so volatile that I've learned it's important to take those gains, because there are opportunities down the line where you can play off that volatility, right? If history repeats, this thing's going back down 90%, because that's what crypto has done multiple times in a row. And so if we think it's going to 5 cents, guess what? If history repeats, what's 95% off of 5 cents? So important to understand how the whole crypto space has worked historically and proceed at your own, make your own plan. That's just my thinking. Matt G, top rankings list. Definitely people will be taking profits. Yeah, and even now, people will take profits. Some people are up 70%. A lot of people, there are different types of people, right? I DCA and just hold. I don't like trading. But there are people who will trade. Bought, will sell, and then buy back lower. So there's going to be a take profit time. Once they see that buying is exhausted, you're going to see the take profits. And that's when we'll see probably maybe a dip back below 000. Season 3 OG, we lit. Yeah, Dive Jedi, chili peppers. Love the chili peppers. So does Alex G, right? Love those chili peppers. What's your prediction, my OMI hype man? Yeah, so I gave that. What's up, Sanjay in the house? Sanjay's a fellow OMI homie. It's Friday. It's OMI homie Friday. So sad, was about to pick up 5 million more OMI. Then they announced that utility was live in the app. Now I'm debating on whether to FOMO and the green candles. Just wait. You got to see what, you got to make your own decision. One of my rules is I don't FOMO. Sometimes if I'm feeling the FOMO, I might nibble to get rid of the feeling, right? That's just me. But you'll likely have another opportunity. But even long term, if it gets to a penny, buying at 1/10 of a penny, everything is so relative, right? But yes, sir. Mr. MC1 is throwing up the bullish and doesn't come up because on my computer, those custom emojis look different. Rocking the custom emoji. I got my face on there. I got the Reese one. I got the Satoshi. Become a channel member. You can help support the channel. I gave away some art pieces by Jeg yesterday. One to a channel member, one to a non-channel member. Maybe I'll do let's do a couple giveaways this week. These were donated by a subscriber. It's an Epico Regal David Yu mashup. Epico Regal is the first platform to use OMI as a utility coin. It's a David Yu shirt. One of these that's fresh white, and then one of them is signed by David Yu. Can't see it, it's there. Signed by David Yu. I think maybe next stream I'll do a nice giveaway. One of those is going to go to a channel member for sure. The signed one. Danny member, thanks for supporting, buddy. I just made another sophisticated OMI post on X. I think you guys might like it. Like it for more exposure. Support Veve Meister, great community member. John's Crypto Therapy and God's Entry predicted. Yeah, so I don't know about John's Crypto Therapy, but I had God's Entry on. And God's Entry just goes by like Fibonacci levels. And, just measuring out returns from each cycle. And last time he was on, he mapped out different levels. And he said from his Fibonacci's, the top level was 5 cents. But he mapped out, 2.5 cents, 3, whatever it is, 3 cents. Who knows? These guys aren't fortune tellers also, right? It's important to keep in mind. Do your own research, take all the information in and see. But fundamentally, there's no one who can analyze Mana and OMI side by side and tell me that Mana should be worth more than OMI. That doesn't make sense, right? And so, yeah. OMI needs a tier 1 exchange. Yeah, it'll come. But again, it's more about, I don't care about the short-term pumps, it's about long-term fundamentals. I think the narrative in the next bull run is AI. We saw an AI narrative play out a little while ago. It's going to be interesting if it comes back in the bull run. It's possible for sure. I think GameFi is going to be big. We'll see. But you'll definitely see signs of narratives in the next cycle. You'll see the signs of it. Like we saw the AI narrative coming. I saw it coming. Everyone saw an AI narrative coming. And then all those small tokens pumped. So you're going to see the signs of the narratives if you're paying good attention. And then you can maneuver as necessary. And the thing about crypto is money flows out of, one sector into another. And so people will take advantage of those narratives. Things don't go up forever. The narrative runs dry and maybe it reaches its peak at a certain point. Correct. Metaverse is not dead. Mr. MC1 is bringing more family in. What's up, Luke? Very smart and mature move by the Ecomi team, not introducing exchanges. There is also, and I've been critical of them, right? But I always caveat it with saying, I don't have all the information. They make decisions behind the scenes because they have a fuller vision, obviously, of what they're doing that we don't know about. We have a limited field of view. They have a full field of view, and they can see the whole vision, and they know how all the moving parts interact. We often play Monday morning quarterback, and I do it every week. But it's important to be open-minded and understand that they have their own plan. And if things play out and they execute on that plan long-term, then we were correct. I haven't even noticed that Kyle is still around, and Kyle is still on Twitter. He's still active. Yeah, he just covers. So Kyle covers more things now, and that's okay also. Maybe he loved Veve last cycle, and now he just likes Veve, and he loves true Web3 stuff. And that's his right. People shouldn't get upset or offended. To me, it shows insecurity in your own conviction or belief system when you beat down people who have either been critical or just less enthusiastic now, right? That's just me. Wes, Kyle gave a quit a higher than Veve. Yeah, and that's to me. And I said that I thought that he was wrong there. I brought him on the channel. I said that I disagreed with that. He explained why he gave it that rating, and why the channel gave it that rating. And at some point, you have to agree to disagree, because that's what adults do, right? We're not always going to agree. Sometimes people are going to make decisions that we think are oppositional to our bags, but that does not matter. All that matters is deliverables, right? It doesn't matter how Paul Barron ranks things. It doesn't matter if Paul Barron said quit is ranked higher than Veve. It just hurts your feelings a bit. Doesn't matter. Shouldn't shut the door on Paul Barron, because again, that's a potential investor, a potential collector, and everyone is welcomed. Pavle in the house. What's good? Jordan Riz in the house says, you be trolling. That's David. You not going back down. I'm super happy. I loaded up. And now I will extra rich. So we're definitely in that greed section of when we talk about the fear and greed index, we're definitely, where is it? We are definitely in this green section. Be aware. Damn, Jordan. Up 180K this last 30 days. That is sick. It's crazy. Congrats. Good feeling. David is such an amazing person who's truly a collector at heart. The founders are the reason why this project will go all the way. He's definitely a collector, definitely understands this whole industry. 200 million split 5 different ways is genius. OMI, I believe that I managed to pick OMI at 0006. Yep. Also keep in mind that there's someone mentioned that there's not enough OMI for like a certain, I don't know what it is. I forget what the number is, 30,000 people, whatever it is. Only a certain amount of people can stake the full amount. Also keep in mind that OMI staking doesn't only grant you MCP points, right? There are also seasonal rewards that are planned, yearly rewards that are planned. So for each full year that you're staking, and there are seasonal snapshots, if you stake for 4 straight seasons, I believe that's, we'll see. For each full year, a participant maintains their OMI deposit, they will receive a more exclusive collectible reward and an amount of OUP tickets based on their tier at the time. Right? So you're going to get other rewards for staking. And if you're a true collector, they are now bridging the collectors to the OMI side of things. The systems are coming together. The ecosystem is coming together. Milestone. Expand the user base. And you're onto something. I want to go through. That reminds me of, was it here? I don't remember where it was, but there was a point that I wanted to make. Anyway, Jay Tokes, who has turned bearish on the token and everything, and he has every right to. I'm not shading him. But 2 years ago, we were told OMI can now be put on the app. Less than 2 weeks ago, get another article telling us we can put OMI on the app. They had 2 effing years to prepare, right? Saying that we still didn't have it. This was August 22nd, but now we have it, right? So there are people like, and I'm not, this is not to, denigrate him. He's been a tremendous community member. He did so many spaces. He got tired. He felt that they didn't keep their word. He has every right to feel that way. But there are many people who felt that way, who feel that way, who now see something tangible, and there's a great opportunity to bring those people back into the fold. Also important to understand that people have been frustrated with Veve. It's not just a Veve thing. We can't sometimes live in our own world. This is from Ecomi. Great tweet. Fun fact. The most expensive recur pass, this pure white zero pass, sold in 2021 via Christie's and OpenSea at auction for 96 ETH, which at the time, ETH was much higher than it is now. Almost $500,000. $500,000. That's way worse than a goofy lenticular. Point is, we have been stuck in our own community. This stuff has been throughout the whole space. There are stories like this. There's a lawsuit against Yuga Labs and Sotheby's, the auction house, for allegedly conspiring to inflate the hype and whatever attractiveness of Bored Apes, and people were buying them for millions of dollars. They paid influencers. Influencers didn't disclose allegedly. There's now a lawsuit, and the prices of mutant apes plummeted. I don't know. I don't collect over there, but if I'm not mistaken, they went from like 20 ETH to like 7 ETH or 8 ETH in the span of like the last few months. So this stuff is throughout the whole space, right? The downturn. It's important to have perspective. We get caught up in our own mistakes, in our own vault values. Recur is dead, literally. Nifty's dead, literally. Veve is not only making it through, but coming out on the other side fundamentally stronger. So that doesn't absolve them of, that doesn't like, again, we can't run a victory lap, and there's much still to accomplish. They still have a lot to get done and deliver on, but it's okay to celebrate these wins, right? People should be feeling good. My whole thing is keep a balance, though. Celebrate, but don't get ahead of ourselves either, because like people point out, they still have to grow out that user base. A lot has to go right still. I'll never dump more than 1 or 2% at a time. Thank you, Jordan. Don't dump on us, man. Don't dump on us, man. OMI will be there next year this time. Yeah, 12 months from now, we're going to be in a different place, right? See where the macro is. And we're going to see all the other milestones if they continue with this cadence, which I don't have reason to not believe that the cadence will continue. Been buying OMI the last 5 months hard, and now it will finally pay off. Good job. Good job to everyone who's bought anything during or even held through a bear market, right? And if you've had the means to accumulate, not just OMI, because there are plenty of other good projects. If you've had the ability and the conviction and the wherewithal to accumulate, I think that next bull run should be good. OMI should be at 003 now, but people still are sleeping on it. Yeah, I do think it's a bit undervalued in comparison, as I said earlier. Mark Kun, Jordan Riz, but yeah, big gains. Only the chosen can buy OMI. What else we got here? Everyone's staking. Yeah, I'm going to stake after this stream for sure. I'm going to pop on the Foster video and do that. Let me go through some more tweets that I had saved. This is from Foster. Earning rewards from holding OMI on Veve is not only a fantastic utility, but shows the company's commitment to the token. And again, that's what it's all about. Demonstrates commitment to the OMI side of things, gives people confidence. Token without utility has no value. The OMI token powered by the Veve app is unstoppable. This is just the beginning. Shifting gears. This is a Ecomi tweet that I had bookmarked because it highlights something interesting. These are things that people would not consider. You don't see a lot of people talking about posters, talking about the art pieces like this, the computer from Jurassic Park. But once Veveverse comes out, I think that a lot of these collectibles that look good, but don't necessarily have that hype around them or that, speculative monetary value, a lot of them are going to have utility in the Veveverse because they look good. And people are going to look to pick them up. So I bookmarked this tweet for that reason. Another tweet I bookmarked, Nicoya. I think that's how you pronounce it. Mega milestone for my life. I never thought I would make it. Since March 2021 with OMI, it will mean a lot to show me some love from the fam. He got to his 10 million. And you're seeing a lot of people accumulate more than they anticipated. And now this is a new target for people. So when I first got into OMI, my target was like $1 million. I think everyone just wanted to be like an OMI millionaire, right? If you were buying OMI. That was the target. Now, with the prices being low for as long as they have, and now with max staking at 10 million, you're seeing people move their targets, right? And have an opportunity to achieve their targets. So good stuff. Let's go in here. Why do you think it will pull back? Because that's kind of what crypto does, right? Pumps, it retraces. People take profits, people sell, and that's just the way things work. Buying OMI and app will melt faces. It's definitely going to help. And there are many people on the Veve side of things don't want to watch a Foster video to bridge. Don't want to go through 8 steps to buy. What Veve has done well is made things simple, right? Simplifying processes. On the Veve side of things, buying collectibles, loading gems in the App Store, taking that 30%, sacrificing 30% and giving it to Apple and Google in order to secure a user base, right? A lot of people might say you're stupid for going through the phone app, but they saw that as a strategy to bringing in a lot of people. On the flip side, they have to make up for those fees, right? And we see that when we sell and think cash out and things like that. So we feel it. But if we didn't have the ability to buy gems in the app, I would say a good 3/4 of people wouldn't be here. So they're going to do the same thing on the OMI side of things. Crypto is a complicated space for people. If you're not crypto native, crypto literate, it's not the easiest thing to bridge tokens. There's always a fear of failure. So now they're going to do the same thing they did on the Veve side of things with the app to the OMI token, and give people the ability to buy in the web app. And that's a good thing. Doesn't discount the need for exchanges, right? Because this is good for people who are here in Veve. Doesn't give greater visibility to the crypto world. But definitely helps to bridge people from the Veve side of things to the OMI side of things. And I'm excited for it. Reese tweeted out that they are working on it. OMI will go in waves. Once hype goes down, yeah, they will likely introduce a new exchange. Yeah, this is how things work, right? Ride the wave. I don't expect a big pullback with all the people moving OMI to Veve. We're going to see. Yeah, I saw a whale watcher. There are a lot of people on. It's going to be interesting to see the data, how many people are bridging. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I always leave the door open to being wrong. It's going to be interesting to see the data. And thankfully, there are people, smarter people than me in the community, who are able to track the data and give it to us. And we'll be able to see how many people are bridging, staking, etc. All right, doesn't take the coins out of circulation, but it, it does in a way. OMI 2025, how much? So my bull case, and I said it before, this is from 40 minutes ago. I probably already said it. Bull case, I think, is like 5 cents. I tend to be conservative, FYI. We'll see. Yeah, Jordan has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Subscribe to it. Support all the creators. He hosts around the Ecomiverse every Monday with a variety of people. I was on it early on a lot. I haven't been on recently because I've been busy. But definitely subscribe and support everyone in the community. They introduced OMI buying on the Veve web. Yeah. And I don't think if, I think it's when they introduce. It's coming. And you have to give them credit for the forethought of the vision to make things simple. So, yeah. Wes says 5 to 10 cents. Pavle, buy now and set it and forget it. Come back during. And that's also my thing is my whole strategy is DCA in a bear market. And if there's a bigger dip, I'll DCA a bit more. What happens is if you try to time things, you get greedy to the downside. When you get greedy to the downside, you see something go like OMI to 0006, but you think I'm going to buy it at 0004, and you don't buy it at 0006. Or you see Bitcoin at 15.6 thousand, and you think 12,000 is coming. I'm not buying. I'm waiting. That's greedy to the downside, right? We can get greedy in terms of not selling. Greed can also kick in when buying. So there's that. Nice. Move my OMI to Tangent Wallet. Crazy Dan in the house picked up another 2.3 million yesterday. Total of 18 million. People are blessed to accumulate, not just OMI. Again, people are, if you've been in this bear market and you're accumulating good projects and coins, including Bitcoin, trying to get to a whole, I've been working towards a whole coin during this bear market, and I'm getting close, and I should get there in the next couple months while I'm buying these other things, right? I need to be a whole coiner. This bear market is giving me the opportunity to do that. Hopefully. I think it'll be a lot harder for OMI to dip hard because of the wallet hodl. Yeah, we'll see. I'm happy I didn't listen to you because you said don't buy. You said I would be someone's liquidity, but I greatly increased my profit. Always inverse you. There you go. Except it went down to 0007. I didn't say don't buy. I said I don't chase green candles. There's that. Thanks for all you do, Danny. Very level-headed. Yeah, hit the like button. Thanks, Chip. I don't hold it against you, D'Angelo. Hulk smash the like button. Yeah, please, man. Over 100 people in here still at an hour and 42 minutes. I'll continue to talk for a little bit. I have some other things here. I'm just going to go through this chat a little more. Would you also sell what you stack in the Veve app? Yeah, I would. So I grew up in the 80s watching wrestling, and $1 Million Man said everybody's got a price. Ted DiBiase. Everything's got a price. Yeah. And I did sell my collectibles during the bear market to secure the OMI that I have. And I did that when OMI was... So I sold my Todd, I think at like $1,000. I bought OMI and some Bitcoin. OMI was 0007, 0006. And by doing that, I was able to hit my target of how much OMI I wanted. I'm now cycling back into the collectibles because I'm getting closer to my bags and I see the Veveverse coming out and I want to dress it up. So I bought a Todd back at 800, give or take, and a Superman and things like that. But yes, if we saw another big run up, it's harder to sell sometimes the collectibles because of the emotional attachment to some of the characters and stuff. But I've learned the hard way to take profits. Now, that's just me. You might just be a collector at heart, and that's you. But me, I like to collect, and I'd like to, if they go up in value, I will consider selling. But I haven't set like price targets or anything like that. But it's good to have a plan because I wasn't prepared in the last, when we were in that bubble and everything was running up, I sold some stuff. We didn't have cash out. I've gotten caught other times. I've made mistakes. And so I've learned some lessons. And one of the things that I've been bad at is selling. So I'm trying to get good at it. So I'm going to be selling at some point some stuff. Crypto, collectibles, whatever. Because I need to take those wins. Impressed with OUP and happy to stay maxed at 10 million. Looking forward to next phase. Correct. And so the next phase is going to be huge. Getting to actually use your points and spend your points is the real utility for the points. Right now, they're just points. It's going to gamify the whole thing. It's going to incentivize people to hold more because right up till now, they're just points on a screen. They're words on a paper. Once that MCP is fully rolling out and they said they're looking to fix the waitlist problems first, and then comes the next phase of MCP OUP, right? So bullish. Yes, last bull run was caused by COVID. In Canada, every person that made 5K in 2019 was eligible for 2K a month. Yeah, from age 16. Same over here in the US. There were stimmy checks going out left and right. People didn't have to pay their mortgages. All they had to do was click a button on a screen. And all that mortgage money, which they don't have to pay back until the end of their like 30-year fixed mortgage rate or whatever. All that mortgage money was getting dumped into, a lot of it was getting dumped into markets or going into construction, right? But there's a lot of free money. So I don't want to make the mistake of assuming that the next one will be exactly like the last one. Markets are irrational. Price of OMI with hundreds of thousands of users. Yeah, I agree. Will we get hundreds of thousands of users, though? I don't know. They say that there are 600,000 wallets. Many of them were bots. Many of them hold one collectible, right? They weren't real users. Good news is, you don't even need hundreds of thousands. 20,000 new users would move things considerably. It would effectively double the amount of people here. And think of the percentage of those new users. Think of what percentage of those new users would be whales. And you saw the person who just surpassed Dr. Profit is spending crazy money a day. Veve Vantage, I think, did a short video on it. Check it out. Is spending crazy money every day. That one whale that surpassed Dr. Profit. Imagine 10 more whales like him coming through. We don't even need hundreds of thousands of users. They talk about mainstream adoption, millions of users. Don't even need it. I've said it before. The entire baseball card industry is propped up by under 1 million users. A Mickey Mantle card sold for over $4 million last week. 50,000 active users, true active users, would do wonders for not only Veve, but also OMI. And now get those people staking 10 million, like Sanjay's now doing, like new win. I can't pronounce his name. Entran is doing. And these collectors at heart, right? Get those whales. And now they have them stake. And you have the possibility, the potential for a thriving ecosystem, right? Which was the vision from the beginning. So I agree. Markets are irrational. All right. But I try to apply some rationale to it because I don't want to make the assumption that the market's going to pump my bags irrationally. Getting bullish on OMI again. Let's go. Yeah. David said there is something big in August that got pushed back to September. I'm like 45 minutes behind this chat, guys. All right. So that's interesting. It'll be a dope drop, and that'll create excitement also. If I had to guess, they will do a drop for MCP high level or master. Yeah, they're also going to have to burn through. All these people have all these points that they've accrued, and they're going to have to burn through those. So Sleeping Comics was speculating on this also. I'm sure there are going to be drops that are exclusive for MCP points, and you'll have to, go for the drops exclusively with the points and spend points on them. Just the beginning, the pool going to stay the same, and many people will start to deposit. Yep. For the record, I commented that it was perfectly fine for Danny to sell. Yes, Dave, Dive Jedi, you did. He doesn't need to explain himself when he sells. I just want to be as transparent as possible because I understand. Everyone said not financial advice. If one person's influenced by something that someone says, it's important, I think, to try to be transparent. On the flip side, I don't want to give sell signals. I don't know what to do, guys. I think when the bull market comes, I'm not going to give buy or sell. I'm not going to give anything that can be construed as a buy or sell. OMI Friday. New people regretting. And this is what happens. People be regretting not buying. That's an old doc I have. And I have other documents I'll share in different live streams. That's old. How many token circulation are there? I want to say about approximately 300 billion. Could they possibly do a burn party of tokens? No. So they can only burn them through the burning mechanisms that have been designed, and the burning will start. You can't do a burn party, but the burning will start once the utility comes out, right? OMI to buying bronze tickets, etc. And then we'll get a sense for how many, the pace of burning. But that's not even factor in also. Can't wait till we get numbers and how much OMI has moved. Yeah. I've been going for almost 2 hours. Got about 100 people in here still. I'm going to call it a day, though. I want to thank you all for joining me, as always. I've been streaming a lot over the last few weeks. I'm going to try to continue. I've got some good guests planned. I've reached out to some people. Do more solo stuff, but I go back to work full time next week, so it's going to be a little harder. But I'm going to try. So I want to thank you all again for coming through. Hit that like button on your way out if you hadn't done it already. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you all coming through, supporting, chatting. As always, I will catch you all in the next stream. Peace out.